Hello everyone, I am Praveen VR, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, teaching you Microcontrollers Theory 18EE52 for 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Engineering students. In today's session, I am taking a topic on TMOD register and TCON register. What do you mean by a TMOD register? A TMOD is a 8-bit register which is used to choose the timer 0 or timer 1, one of the timers, and it is used to select the mode. What do you mean by mode? What do you mean by counter? What do you mean by timer? And what do you mean by gate? Gate is defined as a bit in the TMOD register where you can either use the TMOD register as a timer counter or it can be used as the interrupt pin. If the gate signal is high, then it is used as the interrupt pin. If the gate signal is low, it indicates that I will be using it as the counter or as the timer. Coming to C/T bar, the 6th pin. What does this pin do? The 6th pin and the second pin of the particular TMOD register, the function of this pin is to make sure that if this pin is going to read, 1, it indicates that it will be used as counter. If it reads 0, it will be used as timer. Since it is T bar, it will be used as timer. Coming to the next pin, that is M1 and M0. So what does M1 and M0 function? They are the modes which we are going to select. It could be mode 1, mode 0, mode 2, or it could be mode 3. So the first 4 bits are going to be selected for timer 1 and the next 4 bits are used to select for timer 0. So depending on the format, we are going to choose whether it is timer 1 or whether it is timer 0. Either of the timers could be selected at a time. If the gate signal is going to be low, in the case of timer 0, it indicates that we have chosen timer 0. In the case of timer 1, if it is low, it indicates that I have chosen the timer 1. Similarly, M1 and M0 either in timer 0 or timer 1 indicates that what mode we have selected. Again, I'm repeating, there are 4 modes in the case of timer. That is mode 0, one is mode 1, the third one is mode 2, and the fourth one is mode 3. So let us see what are the different modes. Mode 0 is known as the 13-bit timer mode. What does this 13-bit timer mode function? It is a mode in which it is split into 2. One is the 8 bits and the other one is a 5-bit. So this is called a 13-bit timer. What is mode 1? Mode 1 is called as a 16-bit timer where 16 bits are going to be used in this case of timer. Whenever I'm talking about mode 2, it is called 8-bit auto reload mode, whereas when I'm talking about mode 3, it is called as the split mode. What do we understand by split mode? In the case of split mode, we are going to split the timer into 2 modes, or a 16-bit timer is split into 2 8-bit timers is what we call it as the split mode. So let us see one by one what it is. So before we go to one by one, we are going to understand what is a TCON register. TCON indicates timer control. So what does this function do? This function is going to control the interrupt pins as well as it is going to control the timer timers that are present and the interrupt flags. What are the interrupt flags that are there? One is the overflow flag, one is the run flag for both timer 1 and for both timer 0. So coming to the 7th pin, TF1. TF1 indicates timer 1 overflow. This particular bit is going to work when timer 1 overflows. So whenever timer 1 overflows, this particular bit is going to be high. Whereas in the case of the timer 0, whenever we are going to consider, we have to make sure whether timer 0 TF0, that is the 5th pin, when this particular pin is going to be high, it indicates that timer 0 there is an overflow. Coming to TR1 and TR0, TR1 and TR0 is you are starting the timer. Whenever after you set a timer, you start the timer. So when do you start the timer? Whenever that TR1 or TR0 is set. What is IE1 and IT1? IE1 and IT1 is enabling internal, you are enabling the external interrupts is what we call it as IE1 and IE0. IE1 and IE0. So these are something related to timers and related to counters. So TCON is defined as the timer control, and under timer control it is going to be considered as a 8-bit register. A TCON is also a 8-bit register. TCON is called timer control, where you are going to control the interrupt flags and you are going to control the timers. So the function of this particular TCON is to control both interrupt flags and it is used to control the timers. How many timers are there? There are going to be 2 timers. What are the 2 timers? Timer 0 and timer 1. So timer 0 sometimes can overflow. When it overflows, there is going to be a bit which is called TF0 and TF1. TF1 is for the timer 1 overflow flag and TR0 is for timer 0 overflow flag, TF0. Whereas IE1 and IE0 are the external interrupt pins which are used. Whenever an external interrupt occurs, this pin is going to be high. Whenever there is no external interrupt that is there, at that point of time, this pin is going to be taken as 0. So this is about timers. This is about the counters. And whenever we are choosing it as a counter, the pin in the TMOD register for the counter, it has to be high. It indicates that we're using it as counter. If it is 0, it indicates that we are using it as the timer. So depending on the timer and the counter configuration, we are going to make use of the TMOD register. TMOD register plays a very important role because in all the programs what we are going to write, whether it is an assembly language program or whatever program we are going to write, the function of TMOD is very important, wherein it says what timer we are using, which mode we are operating. All those things plays a very important role. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.